Check, Chuffy 1 2. Ladies and gentlemen, check, Chuffy, check, Chuffy 1 2. Should do big face ready to start, shouldn't we? Big old face. Oh, my big face should be over there, and it's not quite. We're not going to be using the big face much today. I'll tell you for why. You can see this now. This is actually not 1080p, is it? Look, the big face. Might be a bit more in focus if I lean back, because I've been doing the manual focus. Been doing the old manual focus. Focus. I forgot to switch the autofocus back on after I changed the settings. But let's just check you can hear me. One chuff. Let's just check you can hear me. One chuff. Yeah, and that background sound shouldn't be too loud, but you tell me if it's too loud when you get in the chat room, wherever you are. Yeah, this new lens, great, but it's made me realise that the remote viewer, I said this before the other day, the remote viewer, the software that the camera runs on, so you don't have to use the capture card, you can just do the USB. That's at 540p. It's not a 1080p remote viewer. The remote viewer is at 540p, so I'm never going to get 1080p out of it. Got to use the USB, not the USB, the HDMI into the capture card, into the adapter, into the computer, and the capture card's only cheap, $10 off the internet. Only cheap, $10 off the internet. It means it's only just 720p anyway. And then you have to fuff around with the batteries, and you have to go around the back of the camera to mess with the settings. If I want to mess with the settings now, check this out, watch this, you'll love this. You won't love it. I mean, if I want to mess with the settings now, look. That's the ISO, gone, I'm dark, gone dark, brighter, back lighter, there you go. I can just mess with the settings. Do you want to see the colour balance change? Do you want to see, no, let's not mess with it any further. I can do that from right here at the computer because I've got the remote viewer window open. Anyway, what we're doing today is we're going to say some thank yous. We've got the coffee donations. I wanted to go through them. It's a bit... If you want to go through them yourself, you can have a look at that and see what people are doing, and you can view it. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to view every single tippy on stream and say thank you individually, or if I should just do what I'm doing now, bring up all your names and then say Snips, Nigel, Pazza, not, where is it, Showmore, not capital K, but it must be not capital K. I want to say thank you to all individually, which I sort of have just done. But also I kind of want to say like some big thank yous to the people that did the big donations, but I don't want you to feel undervalued if you just did a little donation. It's all relative, isn't it? Yeah, it's all relative. Just any form of donation to me is big. It's got the top supporters there on the left, so you can see who's done. So toppies is Snippies, Tippies at the moment. It's there, you can see it, and I want to say thank you for that. But I want to make sure that you all realise that you're all equally valued. I think this in my day-to-day life as well about charity and giving. I believe in being charitable. 2.5% of my income goes out on those sort of things. It's a straightforward system, and it's, if I earn loads of money, it gets bigger. But of course, like let's say for example I'm a millionaire and I give you a tenner, it's not so much bother to me, is it? But if I've only got 20 quid and I give you a tenner, that's half my money. So I think it's all comparative, it's all relative, and you know, for that reason, even the small things seem big to me, because to me they are big. So, and then the big things seem even more massive, so it's just like astronomical, blows my mind. So that's my thank yous. I want to say thank you. Top tippers, I don't know how not capital K doesn't get his Nigel, Snips. You should be on there. Should be on there. Top. All three of you, all four of you now. Top tippers. To me, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the Ko-fi coffee page, and chuffers. I'm Ganji Kid. Do you want to do the intro? Have a bit of that. Hi, you're with Scott. This is Ganji Kid, the stream. It's Sunday. It's actually 4 o'clock on a Sunday. 4 o'clock in the UK. 4 o'clock on a Sunday. This will be your right ear, and this is your left ear. And it's midnight. It's always midnight. So have that. And what we're doing today is we're going to go web browsing. Excuse me. we were going to do a bit of an art chat about the fishy tail. Look, if you look on our channel now, Ganji Kid Chuffers, YouTube, Ganji Kid Chuffers, binge on playlists there. We've got the stream archive. We've got the Journey of the Broken Circle, art history unedited. We didn't do a lot of art history this year, did we? We need to get back on that. Naughty me. Naughty me. Earthbound has not been finished because Sony will copyright strike the videos because they own the music. Annoying. But we're going to add to that with the playlists for the playthroughs of games now because we've got... Oh, what's that? A stream. 22 hours. 22 hours ago I streamed. But I stream on Twitch. But now I also stream on YouTube. I'm a affiliate on Twitch. Thanks to your sub-bomb donations. I'm a affiliate. So we're going to stay on Twitch as well. We're going to maintain. It's been growing. It's been working on Twitch. We're happy with that. We also want to have a foothold in YouTube, not just as an uploader, but as a live streamer. So what we've decided to do, or I've decided to do, for the next, however long, just see how it works, is to put the live gameplay where I'm playing a game for an extended period of time, maybe not doing such interesting chuffing, maybe I haven't got a plan for the stream, maybe just playing the game, put that on the YouTube, live streamed, because that way I don't have to edit it and upload it, it's just already there. With Twitch, do more of the chuffing, and we introduce games on Twitch, we have our first looks on Twitch, but if we're going to follow it through, like for example Green Hell's going to take another sort of 20 hours to finish, I imagine, at my rate. And if I do it on Twitch stream every time, I don't think it works in terms of, like, people get bored of the content, they don't want to see it, but I feel invested in it, and I think there's enough, at least one or two of you want to see the end. So I can't be the sort of streamer that just opens up a game and then never finishes anything. And on the other hand, I can't be the kind of streamer that just sits and plays one game forever until it's complete and I've got everything and lets the other kind of content suffer. So we've got this balance. Now, A Fisherman's Tale there, full VR question, that's only an hour long. The game's not that long. So those sort of games I actually really like. I like it when they're between an hour and 3 hours, indie-style games, and we can do a full playthrough and get a bit of a conversation going and have a bit of an maybe an interview with the developer or a review that goes on our edited channel later. So we've got these channels, Art Chat, that's where you find those sort of things. Ganji Cuts, where you find our fun stuff edited. Mental Health Monday is obviously what we do every Monday, 8 PM GMT. We do Mental Health Monday. I'm thinking of changing the time of that because it's quite late at night and dark, but I think we'll carry on for now because it just seems to work. And then Ganji Clips is our clips channel where you can just see little clips of the chuff. You can make clips on Twitch and I'll upload them to the clips channel. Battery Exhausted is going to have some sort of resurrection of some description. I'm going to start putting some stuff on there. And True Binaural ASMR, we need to make it. I'm going to, it's absolutely on my pinned things to do before Christmas list. Make an ASMR video before Christmas to show them love. So that's our edited channels. This is our stream archive, Ganji Kid. And so we are broadening out into that gameplay thing. I don't know. I might be wrong here. Maybe I should play the games on Twitch and do the talking and the chuffing on YouTube. Maybe I should abandon the affiliate status that we have and start asking for YouTube subscriptions instead. I don't want to diversify that too much because I don't want to ask of you, oh, can you subscribe to this and that and pay for this and that. No, we've got Patreon already, which is regular. They give me the most chunk of the income. They take the least cut. Then we've got Coffee. That's Tippy's on streams, Tippy's live, Tippy's when you're watching this YouTube video edited anytime, Tippy, and that gets covered in our Sunday Tippy review and comes up on the screen with its music. Subscribers to Twitch and YouTube, like, it feels like I'm asking a lot there, doesn't it? And YouTube as well. So we're just gonna do it this way for now, see how it goes. But if you think, if things change, if you think it's better to do the gameplay on Twitch and the chuffing on YouTube, whatever you think, whatever we think, whatever seems to work, we will push forward with. And on into the new year, obviously the podcast will live on YouTube and the podcast will not be live, I doubt. We might do some live things with the podcast, but the podcast will have to have its own space on YouTube, I imagine. I think. I'm not sure. I don't know how, whether you want a million channels, but it seems like sensible to have its own space, doesn't it? So that's something that's our next target, is getting this. See above my head? That's our second camera. It's pointing into the room. You can see I've got a table, chairs, microphones. We've got everything ready to do a podcast now. Got everything ready. So we just need the guests, and that's something I'm not going to kick my own ass about until after Christmas. because Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, a piece of cake will do. And I prefer cake. Definitely not worried about that fat goose. Let the fat goose run around and do its own thing. We'll just have the cake. So that's going to come in the new year. So, this is what we do. I do chuffing. At the start of an episode, you shouldn't do loads of chuffing. You get straight into it. I haven't even told you what we're doing yet. They don't want to hear all this chuffing. They want to be able to skip on, but they can't skip on because this is live. All right. What we're doing today is we did our watch later the other day. Now, you've been good, so you're going to get a marching band. That's going to be your reward. Every Sunday, we're going to watch the best, coolest video of this if you've been good with your tippies and chippies. So you've been good, so you're getting the marching band. And what we did the other day was we looked at Metal Jesus Rocks, and Metal Jesus Rocks told us his top 10 games that everyone should play. Now, we looked at it and we did our own analysis. So I want to get onto this Paint. This is PC Paint. And in PC Paint, we're going to make our own list. So, like, 10 games. I've written it above there. 10 games you must play. And I wanted to split it into two sections. I wanted to do 10 games. Know your history. Know your history. Know your history. Know your history, which I think his story. I think some, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have to do like loads, but there are some games that are on that list because they're historically important in terms of gaming. So know your history games, and then I wanted to do the alternative list, which is games you must play. The games, the really good ones. The obvious, the main ones. Skyrim. Skyrim's nearly old enough to get into history, but it's not really, is it? When I'm talking history, I'll just show you this. Just go up. When I'm talking history, I am talking anything from the NES backwards. NES onwards. I suppose nowadays you'd have to include the SNES as well. Anything from the SNES backwards. SNES onwards, N64, modern enough. Getting re-released on the Switch live system. I haven't got my Switch in this room. See how good it is, the Switch. You can take it in other rooms and lose it. So, I don't know how old the history should be, and I don't know where the break point is. But for me, Skyrim is modern enough. And so the big games that everyone should play, our list. And then the history games, which will include the arcade machines like, what did we say? Sega Rally. We wanted Sega Rally on there. So you can see what we're doing. That's the sort of thing we're doing. And we're doing that after you've had your treats. So first thing first, it's time for... I can't read this. I don't know what it says. This is the music we've been listening to. That's going to be paused now. This is Kyoto Tachibana SHS Band. Now, I'll tell you something. I absolutely love a marching band. I love a band as well. Like, a live band with music and guitars and rock. That's cool. But I'll tell you what I love is when you're out and, like, it might be the Summer Fete, or it might be we have a thing in Stratford that they invented called the River Festival. Like, we used to have the regatta every year, and they took it over with their marketing and their BS, and now charge people to go on the open ground that's public, which I don't approve of. But, sometimes an event like this should have a brass band. We've got a bandstand. It's traditional in the UK. Up north, they're more into it. You have a bandstand. It's cold. You're out on the bandstand blowing your trumpet. The brass band. Traditions of marching bands, drumming bands. I love it. They do the A-team. Bom bom. They've got a triangle. Ding 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 ding. Shall I tell you some stuff I found out about triangles before we get onto your treats? Before we get onto your marching band, I'm going to tell you some stuff I found out about triangles. This will blow your mind. I've got it's on my phone, so I'm going to have to just Google it here. Inventor of the triangle. Offense. Musical instrument. I found this out the other day. Look, Franz Liszt was the first to give the triangle prominent piece in composition in Piano Concerto No. 1. Liszt Liszt wrote a piece for the triangle. Like, he wrote the triangle, and that would, like, made it take off. Now, like, before, it probably existed, but like, to have the gall, the audacity to write notes on your, your composition. You're a composer with all your other instruments like the violins and all that, and then to have the triangle and put it in right up front, blew the place apart, changed the game. Changed the game. And again, it puts Liszt up here. Look, it puts Liszt invented. Well, Liszt was the first to push it. Puts Liszt up there. So Liszt got like this. And look, here it says it sometimes was in trapezoidal form. Sometimes it had 4 sides. No, it had jingling rings. There's so much to know about the triangle. We're going to do a bit more on the triangle. We're not doing it now. We're going to do a bit more on the triangle in the future. But I wanted to know about this Liszt's Piano Concerto No. 1. I wanted to hear it, and we could listen to it together. So that's something we're going to do. Got the marching band. We've got that. And then I wanted to tell you about the biggest shape in the world as well. But I think the biggest shape in the world should be its own episode. So we're going to do that in a minute, on a different day. But we've got so much coming up. But today's just a short one. We're going to do our video games. If that doesn't take long enough, we've got backup. And then we're going to listen to Piano Concerto No. 1 right at the end and find out about that triangle sound. And then, what else have we got? Oh, the marching band. That's what we're starting with. We've done our thank yous. We're going to do the marching band. Then we're going to choose our favourite games, top 10 games everyone should play historically and because they're just really good. And then we'll finish with a bit of the inventor of the triangle. Well, not the real inventor of the triangle, but the person who popularised it the most. And who probably, could you imagine that? It's like these days, it's like, imagine Coldplay, like, actually rocking out on stage. It would blow everyone away. They'd be like, wow, what's going on here? This is totally different. Coldplay, the triangle of the music world, aren't they? The Coldplay collectively are the triangle of the current music world. And yet they seem to get all the gigs and all the pop. Anyway, look. But it would be like Foo Fighters putting out the triangle and then really rocking out on the triangle. So Liszt made this piano concerto. They didn't call it piano. He called it piano concerto, not triangle concerto, because he wasn't that ballsy, was he? He didn't go all balls out and just fully do it. But anyway, look, what we've got is Ganji Kid. That's me. I'm doing the chuffing. This is the watch later, so let's have a look at it. I wanted to see it. Now, I haven't viewed it. No. Forget this. Get Cadbury Milky Chocolate. Forget that. It's from Birmingham, so, like Birmingham. We're a fan of Birmingham, Bourneville. But forget that and forget this, you chuffer. They're adverts. That's not what we want. This is what we want. What is it? Because I couldn't read it. I don't know what it is. And bear in mind, I usually preview things. Preview. I normally preview things so that I know there's not going to be anything dodge. So I haven't previewed this, so it could be well dodge. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be kind of non-dodge because it doesn't look dodge, does it? Just looks all right to me. Just looks all right. Doesn't look dodge. But you never know. Right, web browser. I'm just going to move it so you can see the more of it. There you go. So that's the web browser. This is the marching band. Let's see how good they are. The Kyoto Takibana Senior High School Band. Okay. And I love a marching band. But this one might be culturally a bit different from the ones I'm used to. This is your reward, bear in mind. So let's have the volume up. This is your reward for being good all week. All right, pausing for a second. There's a car coming. How are they letting that happen? Surely you're going to block off these roads because you can't have a car going the other way down the road when the marching band's going. All it would take is for someone to wave their flag out a little bit too far or drop their flute and you suddenly got a serious issue. These two at the front. Now look at how sharp that line of that arm is and the fold on the... Look at how sharp the fold is. It's starched and creased. That's a pride in their uniform, isn't it? Starched and creased. And is it militaristic? Because quite often a marching band has a military background, but this has got these fun colours. So I don't know, high school marching band, fun colours. And these two at the front, they've got to carry this pole, this flag. That's an interesting design for a flag, like a banner carried like that. I've not seen that before. Usually I'm used to seeing people in the UK, we tend to go with the tradition of having a flag bearer hold a flag on a pole, and they have it in a little leather thing that they put in, like a little leather like thing like that the pole goes into, and you tuck that in at your groinal area, and then you march with the big pole and your flag. But these two have got an interesting job, haven't they? Right at the front, big smile, march. Make sure you're holding that thing, everyone's following you. I suppose if the others catch up and you're going a bit slow, you could lift it and they could just pass underneath. But that's your job. You don't get to play the drum, you don't get to toot the whistle, you don't get to bang the drum, you just have to hold the chuffer. Now, if it was me, that's like worse than the triangle for me. You are at the front. You are at the front, so there is a, there is a bonus there. But for me, it's not. I want to get creative. I want to be able to or boom, 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 boom. I want to be doing that. I don't want to be just like. But no offense. Watch the van. So we've got some flags, distracting flags. They're all right, the flags. But what's about to come up is already, for me, already bringing that joy into my heart. One of the reasons I love a marching band is when they get a little bit creative, when they get a little bit freestyle. And this, dancing with the trumpets, pointing with the trombones, that is excellent work. That's excellent work, isn't it? I'm going to play it and I'm going to take it back a few seconds so you get the full joy of seeing that come into shot. Because if you're a young kid or you're just, a person, if you're one of us, a people, a human, you are, and you went, except if you're the AI. If you're the AI, you're different. But if you're I'm looking up there at the ceiling because the AI lives in my ceiling. If you're the AI, don't worry. But if you're a human, you're going to really get this. It's going to do it for you. And you don't know why. It's just the fact that they're all doing it together, the synchronization of it. It's some reason it's going to work for you. And who's this fella in the middle there? Who's that fella in his little blue jumper just walking down? Is he the teacher? Is he the leader of the... Is he just for the walk? I think he should chuff off or wear a uniform. I'm not big on uniform. I'm not big on uniformity, conform, all that business. I'm not big on that. But for a marching band, you're with the programme. Get with it. It'll work. If we all do it together, it works better. Now, I'm not big on uniformity, conformity. Conform, obey, consume. That's not me. That's not me. But if we all do things together, it works better sometimes for certain things. Like I love the football and support the football. And if we all sang our football songs at slightly different times, then it would just be a mess. But when we all sing together, it really makes an effect. So marching bands, for me, exemplify that as well. Like if we all do this thing together, it can be joyous and wonderful, can't it? So here we are. Skipping it back so you get the full joy. Yes! Look at that! Woo! Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Somebody has got a slightly more bright orange tunic than the rest. Hang on. You see it there in the middle? Why's your tunic so bright? Why's your tunic so bright? I suppose there are others with bright tunics, maybe further towards the back, but I can't quite. Maybe you need the tunics to, maybe some tunics have been through the wash a few times. Maybe someone's got a new tunic. Maybe they all come in the same colour, but they just fade in the sun. I don't know. But look, I want to see a bit more uniformity in the tunics here. No offence. If that's you, then you stand out because you're a star. Don't worry. Scott's not dissing you. Scott's not dissing you. Hang on. Camera work now is staying with this little group. Maybe the camera is staying with this group because they've got a child in the, like an iron in the fire, like a dog in the fight, a child in the band. But maybe they're staying with this group for that reason. But I liked it before when we were watching the whole thing march past us. It gives me the real feel, because when you're watching the marching band, you sometimes get something like those trumpets, and you're thinking they were good, and they've gone. So yeah, that's it. You stay and watch everything come past, mate. You have to watch every element. The big exciting bit, that's gone. You can't just run along. Well, you can run along, but there's people lined up on the street. Look, anyway. Oh. That's down by the riverside. That's religious, that one, religious. But also a bit kind of bluesy, isn't it? A bit kind of American, but it's cultural appropriation. Well, it's not, is it? It's not cultural appropriation if you're not the culture that dominated and subjugated and exploited the other culture. It's okay to share cultures, isn't it? Isn't that a weird thing? Scotty Bigface, you'll like this. This is just a random point that I like to talk, random and talk. So cultural appropriation, that's bad, isn't it? Like, it's bad to be culturally appropriating. You can't not be, if you're not, like, for example, if you're not, do I want to use the examples that are closest to the bone? Yeah, what the hell. If you're not black and you put your dreadlocks in and you're of the white, settlers, people who did the slaving and the badding, and you were the nation that exploited these people and caused them to have this problem with social status and poverty, and if you're part of that group, then you're not supposed to culturally appropriate the stuff from this culture. You can't say, I like the way you sing, I'll have that. I like your hair, I'll have that. You keep eating mud and picking things out the fields for me. And even though now it's gone on, this isn't what I think, bear in mind. Or you could clip that and make it sound bad, couldn't you? But this isn't what I think. This is what this is the landscape of the conversation that I'm describing. I'll tell you what I think in a minute. But you can't, the landscape of the things, you're not allowed to do that, especially if you're the one that did the appropriating. In America, it's like, we have these things that, there's this problem in the UK, specifically in the UK, because we've got a similar history. We've got history, but our history's different. America's a much more modern nation. Everyone went there early doors. It was all, I don't have to explain the history, do I? You know, but my point is that things that happen in America, like we called our football team the Redskins, that didn't happen in the UK because we didn't have Native American Indian, whatever you want to call it, native people. Like when we are the native people. Well, the Scottish are the native people and the Welsh are the native people, and they got pushed out by the Romans, the Vikings, the Normans, and the Anglo-Saxons, and it became a melting pot. And then we had like people from Africa and Asia and all that in that melting pot, like Elizabethan England, Shakespearean times, 1400s. We've had different people from different cultures. No, not black people as slaves, but just black people living in England and mixing and not being racially abused necessarily just because of their colour. You know this because of history. Like obviously there was some racial abuse and there was some maybe backward thinking back in the day, Elizabethan. I'm talking 1400s. But we've had this different history. So when we did our football teams, for example, I support Birmingham City, we didn't give them a modern name based on a modern idea, even an 1800s idea or a 1700s idea. We didn't name them after the Celts. We know nicknames were given on different principles, and the football teams themselves were formed in the 1800s. So they've got more history. So my point is, when it comes to, now we've got this problem with cultural appropriation because we did slavery, we didn't really do that so strong. Obviously slavery happened and British ships did transport the slaves and there was bad slavery coming because of Britain. But we didn't, they went to America, didn't they? They took them from Africa and took them to America. We didn't have the same culture of slaves working in fields in our country. We had a different culture of industrialization, and it was white working class people that were doing the horrible jobs anyway. So we didn't. Anyway, look, the point I'm making is different culture, yeah. But then what happens is you've got this big thing in the news in America: cultural appropriation bad. Washington Redskins changed their name. All this news, which is a good conversation to have in the modern world in a country like America. But then it comes across in the news because we have the same news. We hear Donald Trump. English people understand American language. Language is similar, and then so they get these. A lot of the anti-vax ideas in England are born of the American politics around pharmaceuticals, and we have a different system of pharmaceuticals in our country. Like, you get your vaccine for free in England, and in America, I don't know if you have to pay for it, actually. It might be different, but you get your arm, fixed. You go into the hospital in England, it's all free. In America, you have to pay. Like, it's different. So they've got different politics around it. People make up different stories. There are different ideas that are pushed. And then we just hear them on the news in England, and people in England are like, oh, have you heard this? Oh, this is important. But it's important because it's on the big news on the internet. But they don't realise that's because America is dominating the story because it's a bigger country, more people. And then it's not really important in your day-to-day life in the UK because you don't share those, not just political similarities, but social similarities. It's not the same conversation. So in that whole conversation, then you bring up something like cultural appropriation. Of course, it's bad to name yourself the Washington Redskins after you massacred the Native Americans. Of course, it seems crude and dissatisfactory in modern times. But in the UK, for me to eat a curry or cook one, I mean, that's different for me because my granddad was born in Delhi, so it's different for different. But I have down our road, there are people from all different places originally, but they're all British, aren't they? There are people that are originally from China, but they're British to me. There are people that are originally, I mean, they're born in Britain and whatever. There are people whose grandparents are from all different places. We're all British, we're all English. So I can cook Chinese food if I want. It's not cultural appropriation. I can wear a kimono if I want. It's not cultural appropriation. We didn't dominate China, like I said, but even African stuff, if I want, I could enjoy exploring African culture and the cultural melting pot of London, Birmingham. Jamaican's a great example, jerk chicken. Should I not cook jerk chicken or not eat it because I would be culturally appropriating from Jamaica? Well, that's a bit silly. We should just share and enjoy. That's what culture is, and that's how culture moves. You share something, you enjoy it. Music's a great example. Doesn't matter what colour you are, you can all play ska music or reggae music, and then you learn something about the music, about the culture, and then that makes you richer and makes the social tapestry richer. As long as you're being inclusive, as long as you're not saying to people, oh, that's a nice song, I like that, you can't come on the stage, I'm doing it. That's not the way it should work, obviously, appropriation and exploitation, but sharing culture is a melting pot of different ideas, and what are you doing over there, and I'll take a bit of this and I'll try a bit of that, cooking, cuisine, culture. So that's okay. And what they just did there is they played a song that's not from their culture, but it's cool, it's wonderful, celebrate it, great, I enjoyed it. And if vice versa were to be flipped, if it were to be flipped in our marching bands in the UK, here's a great example. There are some marching bands in the UK that are traditionally, this is great because they're wearing orange. I don't know if you can get orange, man. That's it, the old internet. So what happens in Ireland is they've got this tradition, and God, man, this is marching bands, look. Now they are going for it, right? And what they have there is drums and whistly pipes. Now this might seem a bit strange because when I give you a bit more of the context, look, these people are marching, and they're marching in Ireland. So it's not in England, it's in Ireland. But all these people have got their British flags, and they're British, God Save the Queen, and this orange order. These people, look, these. It's not little kids from school, although there are kids involved. This is grown men, adults, military almost. Some of them might have been in the army. This is not an army. But what they're doing is they're marching in Ireland, and they're marching because Ireland's got this problem with the old politics, is that the north of Ireland was taken by England to be part of Britain, and then the south of Ireland were give it back, it's us, we're one Ireland nation, and we're Ireland, and then it's no, we're not. And then we've had bombings. I grew up in a world where there were bombings on both sides, shootings. I know people who've been shot in Ireland, and I've got friends who live in Ireland, and I see not both. I mean, I don't. This is going to sound bad because I don't want to get political about this, but I do see it's a bit strange that it's an island, and one bit of it is we've got that. Say we. I live in England, in Britain, so obviously I'm perceived to be British in this. I'm not Irish, so I can't say we Ireland, but we've got that they want it. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's one of those things, and I personally think no one should be hurting each other or killing each other. That's the main thing. We shouldn't be fighting about it. But it does seem a bit strange that, like, you know, march, march, Britain, Britain, drums, drums. Yeah, I have that. And then the other thing is the Irish have their own, what they would call a freedom fighter army, the IRA, which we would call a terrorist. Again, not me, you know, not me. I'm not involved in this, but terrorism, and you've got all these problems. They have their marches as well, and they have their marching bands. So when you're talking about culture, and I don't know exactly how I got onto that, but my point was that what was my point? Cultural appropriation I went from, didn't I? God, I need to be able to rewind myself and remember what I was saying. My point is just that there are different kinds of marching band, and for you to play somebody else, that was what I was going to say. You could not take the British one and have them play the Irish songs. The Irish people, I don't know, maybe you could. Maybe it'd be a really interesting art piece to have them play each other's songs. But usually the songs are derogatory about each other, so that would be a problem. Usually the songs remember some occasion, like a battle, or, you know, where we won this or you won that, or this happened to so and so, and it's part of that. Like, the songs, the culture are quite important to them. But over here we just had like the point I was talking about culture. It's just interesting, isn't it? It's just interesting. I wonder what it'd be like to play each other's songs. Like, should you be able to? Well, yeah, absolutely you should, because these school children from Japan have just played a sort of American blues, you know, a sort of gospel, you know, it's that theme, that feeling, and it's not their culture at all, is it? But they've enjoyed it, and we've enjoyed it. So wouldn't it be interesting to see the Irish marching bands just forget all the aggro, play each other's songs and have a good laugh? That would never happen. They kill each other. So, but we have had a peace treaty recently. It's the modern world. We shouldn't be killing each other for nothing. Not in the modern world. No, if you're walking, you know, I'm just going to skip back 1 second. Where's it gone? It was forwards. Sorry. Forwards one more. Pause this. Show you these. If you are walking past like a Tesco or a WH Smith's, you know, if your march is taking you past a post office or anything like that, anything normal, you know, a high street, a pub, if your march is taking you past, look, there's a church and a graveyard, if that's the sort of places you're going past, then we should have a rule that it's normal society, so the thing that you're marching about can't do any killing for it. Can't bring killing into that. Can't bring murder, killing, violence from wherever you and your ideas onto the main streets of our cities and towns. Not with pride and with banners. Can't fly those banners if there's going to be killings. Doesn't matter which side you're on. Doesn't matter which side you're on, because I think being on either side's problematic. I think these days, even though we've got borders and you think this and that and politics, I don't want to be part of the politics. I just wish that this person and that person would not be having a big row and a fight. You know, that's where I'm coming from there. Oh, but you're British. Oh, but you think this and just come on. Like, come on. If you're walking down the street, doesn't matter. I'm not drawing the lines. I didn't draw the lines. I didn't do the slavery. I didn't do the war. I didn't do any of that. I'm not guilty. I'm not proud of it. I don't take any pride in what other people did on my behalf before I was born. I'm proud for them and their actions when they did noble things like win a war in Germany. But it was horrible, some of the things that the British Army did to the Irish people. But I don't feel guilty. I didn't do it. I'm not going to take the blame. And nor should I. So I want to be friends with them, and I want to be friends with them. So I just wish they'd sort it out. And like I said, if you're going to walk past a Smith's, if you're going to walk past a Boots, the chemist, you know, the normal shops, in America it would be Walmart or something. If you're going to be walking past Walmart, there should be a rule that you're not allowed to bring killing into your politics, because unless you're going to be, if you're that extreme that you're going to be doing killings, murders and violence and wars, then maybe you should take it outside of the normal day-to-day where kids live. You know, maybe those things should be taken outside of this, put somewhere else. Maybe your ideas don't belong in our modern society, because we're not about the killing and the horribles. You know, we're about the peace and the love, baby. So with that said, let's get back to our favourite marching band so far. I mean, this is only so far, and we have to say thank you many times. So maybe we can make a feature of Marching Band Sunday. I don't know. Let's have a look at what they've been getting up to. It's a 26-minute video. We're never going to get through it all. We're never going to get through it all. Look at the steps. I like that bit. And they all got to shout something as well, which was good. Drums. Hello. Oh, what have I done? No. Oh, but I chuffed it up. They just got to a good bit then. Ah, chuffer, you chuffer. Why do I do it? What's wrong with me? They just got to a good bit. They just did a drum solo, which was awesome, like a cool drum break, and then did the cool drum break, and then they lifted the horn. What did they do? They lifted the things up to their mouths as if they're about to start playing. And I skipped it. I bumped it off. Hang on. No, we're missing all this good stuff. Wait. This was it. I was saying how good this was, that they got to wave their arms and do the thing. And also, where else do you get to hear an awesome drum break? Like, one of the things I love about music is awesome drum breaks. One of the things I love. And we used to play in this band, me and Dave and Ben and Will. And sometimes what would happen is Dave the drummer, Dave could play the drums, but Ben the drummer would get a little bit like head down, a little bit lost in his own world. And what would happen is we'd be playing a song and it'd be time for the drum break, he does his bit, and we sort of jam and wait for him to put his head up and go, and then we all join in again, and like the drum break just gone for ages, just hours, just like he'd just be gone, just enjoying his little boom, like just really having a good go at it, and like we just sort of just watch him. That was brilliant. That was always fun. Drum breaks are brilliant. You don't get to hear them that often, and when a drummer just wants to go and get wicked, and you get to just enjoy his wickedness, that is brilliant. That was what, like, it was worth being part of the band, even if we never played. We did play loads of gigs and had loads of fun. I wrote loads of songs. It was great, but even if we didn't do that, I'd have just enjoyed listening to the drummer do a drum break in a rehearsal. That was always wicked. And then on top of that, you've got, like, you can go out to like, this is one of the reasons I love breakbeat and decks and mixing records, is you've got drum breaks and all them. But other than that, mate, on the radio you've got 3 minutes of record. You don't get your extended drum break, mate. Where's your drum break? Where are you going to get a drum break? You might get a little bit of jazzy drums in a computer game, or there's a game called Ape Out, which is featuring jazz music and drums. Yeah, you get a bit of that. Where'd you get your nice drum breaks from? How are you getting your drum break fix? Well, from now on, Scotty Hottie's bringing it to you on stream. Oh, that was what I was going to say. I love pausing it when it gets going. I've got something else that I wanted to say, which was that they sped it up there, which I like. I like the raise in tempo. And also, I like the brum-bum, brum-bum, brum-bum. A little cheeky. That was from Metro Goldwyn Mayer, wasn't it? Or like 20th Century Fox or something, when they go at the start of the film. But what it does is it grabs your attention. Just in the drum break there, it just grabs your attention. And it says to the people in the band, I imagine, we're about to play this song. Get your stuff together. They've really practiced this. Like, it's not just one little march, play a song, next break. It's all flowing through, isn't it? It's really good. Way! Look at the kicks. Look at that. Good choice, my selector. Oh, you don't get to do your horn at that bit. These fellas with the... don't even know what it's called. I'd have called it a tuba, but it doesn't... I feel like it's not because it's so weird and roundy. Like the Japanese tuba, these ladies, they've got... fellas, ladies... Why do we have to use denominational, gender-specific grouped pronouns? Anyway, look, they've got quite a good instrument for the posing as well, haven't they? They've got quite a good one. And I also wanted to say that it's quite a narrow street, isn't it? We've got little streets like this where I live in Stratford-upon-Avon. Little narrow street, and you've got a nice chuffer of a marching band filling the streets. That's quite an occasion, isn't it? That's quite an occasion. I bet they don't do this every Saturday. But they don't do this. That's quite an occasion if you live in Japan. The whole street full of the band. You can't avoid it. People working the shops, come out, stand out, enjoy it. Oh. They got moves. I like that because the up and down emulates the way the fingers on the trumpet go, isn't it? It emulates that. Smile then. I suppose you got Sally there with the cymbals, Sally cymbals. She's not smiling. She's nearly gonna smirk. Some of them have got the big grin. You got the big drum behind her. She's got the big drum. You're smiling. Boom, 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 all the way down the road. Yeah, you're smiling. If you're Sally cymbals, you're like chuffing. I wanted the big drum. Like, you know, that's going through your mind. Maybe. I can see why you might not be smiling. But come on, we've all got to play our part. Even Tina Triangle. It's not just playing the instruments, it's the choreography as well. Get them off the train tracks. Get them off the train tracks. Get off the train tracks. Waving, there's a train. Get off the train tracks. God, you got to time that right. You got to time that right. Walking across the train tracks. Look how many of them are. The train men are nervous about it. These girls are your drummers. These ones in the back braces and the harnesses. Symbol's important. Look at that! Look at that! Look at the size of that! I love it! Look at the size of the xylophone. Big old Yamaha xylophone. Have you got yourself your back brace on? Yeah, because I've got a chuffing... Oh, my days. And it's, again, it's not the biggest... They didn't allocate the instruments by physical size of player. Like, it's not a big, rough, toughy tumbler that's got the big, chuffy instrument, is it? It's just a little dainty. Right, strap this on. She's got probably... You can see her leaning back to counterbalance the chuffer. They give a good sound, though, those xylophones. They're important. Those xylophones are important in a marching band. Lots of percussion. There we go. Da, 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 da. Now, I don't know this one. That's complex. Chuffing, hey? Like in England, you wouldn't get in your marching band doing all these moves. Like it's already such a long string of complex moves. Like there'd be a lot more marching and a lot less like complicated dancing. I say that, I'm no expert. Maybe, after we watch a load of these, we'll start to be able to grade marching bands better, and maybe we'll find some in the UK that are really quite top notch. Who can not like this? Look. A little squad of flautists. Woo! Suddenly we've got into some sort of like, what is that? That's like swing, isn't it? It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. And you got one of those, it's gangsters, isn't it? It's gangsters and swing, and it's Madonna and Dick Tracy. Suddenly we've changed tone. And what's good about this marching band is, I think sometimes if they're like, they've got a very, what I'm going to try to say is about their costume is smart, it's military, but this sash, this tunic thing, it kind of breaks it up to the point where it's modern enough so you can sort of play anything and dance around to it and get away with it. You don't look too tightly military buttoned up to be like not a swing band. Like usually if the military ones do a bit of swing, they all the way through it as well to make sure that you remember that you are a military band. But there's less of the military and more of the joy here, isn't there? So, go where you want with it. We're in a shopping centre as well. It's it's pedestrian centre, so you're not going to get hit with the car here either. So you can really just go for it. I said that. In America, sometimes you have these sort of things. Oh my God. Oh God, Scott. Oh God, Scott. In America, you have one of these sort of things, and you might get hit by a car. No, don't laugh. It's bad. Like it was children. I'm laughing at the fact that I said it, not that it's funny. It's bad. I've been sad about dead children all week. Look, anyway, this is joy time. Let's go back to forgetting that Scott said that. Web browser. Whoa! Look at this! Look at that move! Look at these kids on the side, they're being impressed! Little kids on the side there, they see that little fella there, that little fella in the yellow jumper? He's being impressed right now. He's being impressed. These are your future marching band groupies. Look at them. Look at they're on the tippy toes doing their moves. Stopping all the traffic, look. A whole new world. And a tiny spur. Let me share my whole new world with you. M-I-C-K-Y-M-O-U-S-E. He's the leader of the gang that's made for you and me. He's M-I-C-K-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Hi, hi, hi. they've obviously seen Full Metal Jacket as well, haven't they? They've obviously seen Full Metal Jacket. This is the end. This is the back of the queue. Such moves. And also, from this position at the back of the queue, what's great now is that you get a good view of the whole band, and that sound, we're in some sort of, there might be some sort of roof overhead, I don't know, but that sound that's filling up with these, like, in sound studios, quite often you play your music in a little room. You know, you try and dampen all the sound as much as possible. Then you go somewhere like a church and you're like, oh, this sounds like that filter that I can put on. This sounds like that reverb I put on. But really, you try and avoid all that echoey sound. And then you go to a gig and it's packed with people and it's like people everywhere. Might not be as resonant. Somewhere like this, the building's up like that, the playing of the sound in the central strip, the slight potential of a roof, somewhere like that, the way the sound's thrown up and resonating, and the way that we're getting to hear it from this back end now, and hear this like this mix, like it's it doesn't sound like a clattering mess. It sounds like a beautiful mix, doesn't it? And that's happened automatically because of the resonance of the buildings and the location and the way the band plays. I think it's great. Hello? What's happening now? 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 time. Look at them, they're doing the moves and the steps and it's 3/4 time. Now listen, you don't just get to switch into 3/4 time and still do your skips and your moves and your steps, surely. No, these girls, they just, I mean, I'm saying girls, some of them are boys, and some of them are non-gender denominational, just statistically likely. But what I'm saying is that they're not even missing a beat. I haven't seen any of them stumble and like clearly need to, oh, what are you doing? I'll just get back in time with you. They're all just absolutely nailing this, and we just slipped into a different time signature. Now, I imagine this is not as impressive to some of these Japanese people on the street, because I imagine they're not as invested in the Indiana Jones saga as children. I imagine that music doesn't fill them full of joy and hope in the way it does us. But and that music comes in after the bad bit when it's like, oh no, and then Indiana Jones is going to save the world. He's going to save you, and like, yeah, he's on the brow of the hill, and it's the new dawn, and is it Star Wars or is it Indiana Jones? Get up the front, you. You've got some security at the back, making sure that none of the marching band stray. They're like straight. They're like geese, ducks. Like none of the marching band are going to stray. The hands are not moving. A lip sync band. No, they better be real. Oh, don't spoil it for us. This is your surprise. This is your treat for being good. So don't tell me they're not real. They are real. They must be real. They must be real. What it'll be, I'll tell you what it'll be, is sometimes they don't have to play because it's not their turn. Like, you don't always play the flute in all the bits of the song, but you don't just hold the flute on the floor and act like nonchalant, like you're not doing anything. You sort of still dance like everyone else. Maybe it's that. It sounds too good. That's what I'm saying, it's good. I'm saying it's good. I think this is why I think it's good. We'll watch there will be other marching bands we can judge. I'll take what you're saying on board, but I don't know. It might be quite hard to God, could you imagine if you cheated it? If you just cheated it? I mean, what you could do is you could record them playing, and then you could just, play that over the top of your video. The flute part hand should be moving. Oh, don't spoil it. I thought they were brilliant. Right, we need to see it closer up now. You don't get enough time to see. That's real. They're really playing. Because when the camera's closer to the flutes, you hear more flutes. I think it might be real. I think it's got to be real. Yeah, look, it's real. It's just they're really good. Do you know, having said this, I hope this isn't a political marching band, because there are political marching bands, aren't there? Like I said earlier, there are Irish political marching bands, and I don't want to accidentally get political, and I don't know what this says, because it's all written in Japanese. So I couldn't tell you the name of this video, and it says Kyoto Chachibina. That's what it says. So, it could be like, this is the race hate band, couldn't it? You can't bounce play. You see, you're not having it. You're not believing it. Now, this is your treat for being good. This is your end of the week treat for being good. Every week we're going to do a marching band. So we're going to look at more, and we're going to, you can judge, but you can have your opinion. You can believe that. I can believe what I want to believe. I honestly think they're really playing it. I honestly do. I mean, it's hard to judge, because maybe one or two might be taking the mickey, like I used to in recorder class. Maybe someone might be having a song off, or, taking a little break midway through, but no. Yeah. I think that's my favourite bit. Who suggested this? Midway through, we'll all stop and just start screaming like we're being murdered. Midway through, we'll all stop and just give me not like, they're singing. The concept of singing exists. We're playing the instruments, not like just like a yay or a, all together now, but this. I'm cutting that. That's going to be our new. That's going to be our new reward sound for the tippies. Wait. Now there's people that are shopping. Hang on. This fella now coming on the right hand side. The lady coming in front of him, and this fella. He's not even looking at them. And he's just like, I'm doing my shopping. How can you be like that? How can you, look, where I've paused it, the girl on the left there, just underneath the play pause bar, she's flying in the air. She's in mid-jump. Look, mid-jump. The energy. And then another one ahead of her. Mid-jump. The energy. Way! The joy, the energy. This fella won't even look at them. I'm doing my shopping. Chuff off, mate. Come on, mate. Lighten up, mate. Look at him. He's a turquoise jumpsuit. Won't even look at them. The shops are shut here. Look, they put the shutters down. Because this dangerous girl band's coming through with their screaming. The violent. Imagine this as well, right? How do you practice this? Like, imagine this. If you're out, like, I used to practice an instrument, and I still do. I play my guitar. I sit down and I just play my guitar. Imagine if I had to take it out in the back garden and start jumping and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and or would you practice the flute, get used to that, practice the dance and get used to that and do them together. Maybe you need to go to the gym to do your flute playing. You know, maybe you need to hire out the sports hall so you can all get together and do your flute playing. I need a bit of open space to play my flute. What do you mean? I need a bit of open space because I'm going to be dancing and kicking my legs. What do you mean? Nice drum break. Give them all a rest. Where the legs going? Yay! Let's just pause that and go back, of course, because this is our favourite as she's coming past. There she is. Just a very slight girl with a massive xylophone, which if she dances too joyously will topple her over, and she'll be gone. Like, how does she carry that chuffer? She's my favourite. And then we're going to have the drums as well when we go past. Poor cymbal player hasn't had much to do now for about 5 minutes. Yeah! Just some polite... Oh, man, that's disappointing. Just some polite applause from the shoppers that happen to be randomly shopping when you can. And it's not like a big crowd come to see this. They've had to force it on the general public. I'm out shopping. They're doing the marching band. I can't avoid it. I'll politely clap. No, if I was there, for a start, I'd have turned up. Just to watch them with my orange. Maybe orange is too political because in England, orange and the Ireland and the orange. Anyway, I'd have turned up with my sash. Sash is also political. Damn it. I'd have turned up with my supportive colours, and I'd have cheered and yelled. Honestly, if I'd have been there, I'd have been like, yes, yeah, and like, yelling at them as they're doing it and clapping along and marching. Occasionally trying to touch can I touch your instrument? Can I have a go on the trumpet? Don't touch get off the trumpet, get off the trumpet, like that, Just try and sneak in. Wear your orange tracksuit and try and sneak in the back. Try and sneak in and then walk your way through. Just quickly walk, and then march in time with them in the middle, like that. Take your own kazoo. Just sneak in. They won't say anything. Because they've all got jobs to do. They've all got, they're all specifically told, do this at this time, do this at this time. So if you just sneak through, they're going to think this is wrong. Someone should sort this out, but they won't be the person to put down their instrument and grab hold of you and say, hey mate, chuff off. You just get away with it for about 5 or 10 minutes. The police, the police could chase me through the middle, couldn't they? Chase it, and then I'd end up at the front. It's not an offence, is it, playing a kazoo in public, mate? Now what happened? It's only halfway through the video. Oh, no, this is not acceptable. What's he doing? You're not going to get anything out of it like that, mate. Maybe you're right. Maybe they have been cheating. Look, this fella blown his trumpet, look. If that's all they've been doing, I'll tell you what he's doing. He's getting the gob out, isn't he? He's taken the trumpety part off and he's getting the gob out. That's what he's doing, making sure his gob goes on the floor. That's not very good for the old COVID. So I think it's disappointing that at the end they're allowed to just, amble. If you're in public view and you're in the marching band, you must walk in synchronisation. If you're only walking, you must march in synchronisation. Heads aloft, proud, tap, step, 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 step. When you're out of view, when you're around the corner, once you've taken off your uniform and you're not part of the marching band, you're not representing the marching band, then you can start to blow your spit out and have a little chat to your neighbour. But not until, because if people just come in the shopping centre now and say, oh look, there's a marching band, and you walk past and you're going, they're going to say that's the worst marching band I've ever heard. So no, absolute, yeah, bad form. Not, you need to be on display, and then when you get, when you're not representing, then it's time to. All the magic's gone. What's this now? Move that banner. Now that is effective. Now I've seen the banner moving. I'm a bit worried this is going to be the same thing, just repeated from the different camera view. Let's see if they start doing that trumpets straight away. We'll know. Yeah. I didn't know the ones at the front were allowed to do so much dancing, but she's obviously having a good time doing her dancing. So yeah, it's the same thing, but just from a different view now, isn't it? I assume, because we're back at the top of the road, and they were doing that with the trumpets. So we'll assume it's just the same thing, because I don't want to see another 20 minutes of it. So, although I do, you next... Look, I've got orange... Oh, no. For the entire time I've been doing this, I've had Orange Men March at the top. Oh no. Maybe people will assume, if they watch my video, that this is the Orange Men doing their march. They're politically motivated, war-based, violent, oh no. Because the Orange Men, like we saw before, are the Irish. They're, in Ireland, they've got all these problems with the IRA, and the Orange Men represent the British side of that conflict. It's a conflict, an actual conflict. Catholics, that's it. Catholics and Protestants. The Orange Men are the Protestants, and Catholic. Oh no! I'll just show you some violence for context. Just show you some, and it's on YouTube on the news. So this is, this is acceptable. It's not going to get my Twitch stream toughed off. I just want to show you that it's, how it goes. This is 6 years ago. So
dark milk desserts.
But bear in mind, it's been happening all my life. So 30 years of this, 40 years of this, longer, probably longer. There they're all marching.
Stands in their way between them and...
Where's the violence then? Here's the violence. Look, way. Oh no, bad it is, violence. Firebomb that. That's a firebomb. This is the streets of Ireland. Like, this is the streets of Northern Ireland, where I grew up, the UK. Like, we've got a cultural history through as long as I've been growing up and seeing it, of annual marches and violence to commemorate and keep going this eternal conflict between the Protestants, the Catholics, who also happen to be the north and the south of Ireland. So you've got, in one end you've got Protestants at the north who are British and have this part of the country. At the other end you've got Catholics who are Irish, who and you got two forms of conflict: their religious disagreement and their political disagreement based on land and ownership and that sort of stuff, and the British and all that. And do you know what? I honestly think we should just give them the chuffing thing back. And all the Northern Irish people there would be like, "Oh, you can't just say give them the thing back. You're just chuffing this and that." And I'd be saying yeah, but come on, man. I've got Northern Irish friends, and I'd just be like, come on, man. Just, is it that important? I mean, it was to their... Anyway, enough of this. The point is that I've had Orange Men March as the sort of top header for this, and this isn't that. So what are people going to think when they see us on the internet? What are they going to think has happened to the Northern Irish conflict? They're going to think that at least some changes have happened over the years. So that's not half as bad as people blowing each other up with bombs. Anyway, there's something else I wanted to show you while you're here. Oh, I just pulled the headset off. What's that? That's the Rolls Royce of cushions. Meta cushion. Infinite meta cushion. It's got a sticker so you know which way to sit on the chuffer. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We had some band kids. Yeah, that's good as well, isn't it? You had, in America, you get they run these chuffers over with the car. It's not good. It's bad. I'm laughing. I'm not making a joke of it. It's bad. It was kids. But yeah, like that's bad as well, isn't it? In context, I could have chosen something that was less fraught with difficulties for the YouTuber logarithm than marching. It turns out marching band I thought was innocent fun. Lovely fun, innocent fun. It brings up war, conflict, political upheaval, violence, and it also introduces concepts of like SUV murderage. And yeah, finally the decent cushion. Yeah. Oh yeah, it arrived. Amazon, Christmas come early. I'll be doing a review of it in the future. After I've sat on it for a while, I can review it. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate, this is your cushion really. So that's the marching band. That's joy. We got that. Today we've talked about. So today we've talked about that's your present for being good. We can put the music back on. It's just background sound. The one thing I wanted to do for us as well is I wanted to talk about these games that we looked at. Metal Jesus Rocks and his games that he said you must play, and I said some, and I wanted to just quickly note down. I don't make this forever. It's not going to take forever, this, but I just wanted to, because for the edit of that video, I'm going to edit out the bits where I'm like, oh, I think this is a good game and this needs to go on the list, and make my own list, basically. Our own list. So, for the final sort of, how long have I been on now talking about marching bands? An hour and 20 minutes talking about marching bands. How do I do it? Now, I thought that would be 20 minutes, just play the marching band video and you could enjoy it and we could watch it and that would be your little treat, and then I'd get on to it. No, an hour and 20 minutes talking about marching bands, so I'm not going to do this for very much longer. But I did want to just quickly give ourselves the skeleton of what I can then throw in my other bits from the edit from the stream and then come back to and say a few more bits and make a video out of. So, the top 10 games you must play. Everyone must play the top 10 games. And we're going to start with just the best games. The history ones we'll do slightly separate. So we'll start with, like I said, the best ones. It has to have Skyrim. It has to have Zelda. Breath of the Wild. It has to have Ocarina of Time, which is just OOT in shorthand. Ocarina of Time. But it should be Ocarina of Time, like that. Oot. So there's 3 already. Chuffing, eh? I think you absolutely should play Hearthstone. Or do I? I don't know. It's like giving someone a go on a crack pipe. You have to try this, but then afterwards you're not going to be able to put it down. It's going to cost you loads of money, and you might lose your teeth. So maybe not Hearthstone. What are the best games ever? GoldenEye. I mean, Tony Hawk. You have to have tried these games. You have to play. But there are some. I tell you what. And then for me, I've got to start chipping in with these, which is Outer Wilds was amazing. It made me emotionally respond. I really think that Fallout should be on the list. But we've got Skyrim, you see, and Skyrim can do that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sega Rally, we think. Tetris is. Let's just chuff in a couple of these history ones so that I can see them there. Tetris, Sega Rally, Mario. A definite Bubble Bobble. And I definitely want to have a Streets of Rage type game, which would be Double Dragon for me. Double Dragon 2. The thing about the history, 10 games know your history, is that you need to know, like, if this is, the list was 10 games you must play. So I'm going to rate 10 games, like the top 10 games I've ever played. Oh, you must play this. Great great experience for you to enjoy. It's like a great film that I saw. So you should see this film. Yeah, absolutely. That's obvious to do a list like that. But the other list should be, you should know your history. You might not enjoy these games the most, but you can't compare what we're doing now unless you've seen this from where we started.
From the Midlands is cheers, which we say a lot.
Just cheers, or some people say tar over here.
I quite like that little Midlands one. I'm going to keep all the sound. Thank you for your tippies. I'm going to keep all the sound files in a separate folder and we can come back to them. But next week it's going to be a new one. And it might be that screaming from the marching band, I think. I think the list is a bit cut off. Oh, look, yeah. Thanks. Thanks very much. Nice to have a first-time chat from a viewer, Battle Basics. And where's your screaming girls? Yeah, no, I can't just put it... To make the sound happen when you do the tippies, I have to cut the sound, make it into a sound file, make it compressed down to less than a certain amount of kilobytes, then upload it to tippies at coffeeganji.com, and then it will accept it and make it a sound. So Screaming Girls as of next week. And thank you, Battle Basics, for telling me about the list. That sort of thing really goes down well because I don't monitor the stream properly, and it really does go down well when you tell me how to improve it, because now it's better. So yeah, the history games, you might not enjoy, like Mario Bros 1, the best. It might not be the best Mario game. Super Mario 3 might be better, but you need to play Mario 1 so that you can understand why Super Mario 3 is better and what we're starting from, where our first... Thank you for your tippies. Do you know what? I don't know if I've got the alert box widget for those tippies today. But thank you for those tippies. Half-Life, I don't know it. I haven't played it enough, but I know that it is known as a turning point in a game genre. So yeah, we can put Half-Life on this. It's not... Would you say Half-Life is old enough to be history, or still modern enough to be, you can pick it up and play it now and just enjoy it against today's standards? Because I think some of the history ones, like Bubble Bobble, you're going to say, oh, this is fun for about 20 minutes, and then you're going to say, come on, they do better games these days. But Half-Life has got enough of the modern mechanics to just stand up into... I bet if they remade it and remastered it and re-released it, which they probably have done, it would stand up to modern... Like, Tony Hawk's recently been re-released, and it just is fine on my Switch. It's just fine. If they that's fine. So it doesn't have to be history Tony Hawk. Yeah. But the history ones, like, I'm not going to suggest that you're going to spend all of your afternoon playing Double Dragon 2, because there are probably slightly better beat-em-ups these days. But playing Double Dragon 2 on your Game Boy and knowing how it felt, and then being able to compare it to, XYZ on my Switch. Now we're talking. Now there's a reason to have 10 games, know your history. So top 10 games you must play, they should include those history games. But then we're taking space off the good list. Now you can't have Skyrim because I've said Sega Rally. Now you can't have GoldenEye, or maybe GoldenEye should be in the history. And maybe Call of Duty should be in the modern. You see, it's tough, isn't it? I think Fortnite should go on this list. You can't see it because the way this thing works. It's PC Paint, isn't it? It's just paint. So it's tough. You're just going to have to write them where I write them. Fortnite. I mean, you should play it and experience it. You don't have to enjoy it. That's on the list. I had a few in my brain before I sat down, but then I spent literally an hour and a half talking about marching bands. I can't think. But yeah, so maybe we should do 2 5s. That would be really tough. This is the best games ever list. Outer Wilds, not everyone's going to love that like I love that. But that made me cry. And we've got to play it together on stream sometime, and I've got to show you why. GTA Grand Theft Auto's got to go on there. Hasn't it? Half-Life 2 is still very playable. There, exactly, yeah. Exactly. I can't write in... Why won't it let me write? What's happened to my keyboard? Okay. So now what's happened is I've got one of these keyboards. See how it's not got any plugs on it? It's not plugged into anything. I'm in the marching band. This is my flute. Quite a complicated flute. You can do all the notes, and then you can do all the flats and the halves and the sharps. You can do all of them. You can do all of them, but you can also do the numbers as well. And and if you play the wrong note, you can backspace like that, and then play the right notes. And it, you know, modern flute, mouth piano. So anyway, look, the the keyboard has battery power, magic battery power. There's no batteries. I tried, you know what I'm like. I tried to pick off this sticker because there was a screw underneath it, and I wanted to see what kind of screw it was. And then I started to unscrew it, and then I stopped because these things come apart, and then that's it, isn't it? But the batteries are run out of the magic battery, so now you have to plug it in with your wire, your little USB. You know when you get your chargers out and you can never get is it the USB or is it the micro? I don't know. I'll try them both, and whichever one I try first will be wrong. That's Schrodinger's charger. It doesn't matter what socket it is. Whichever one you pick up first will be wrong. If you've got a box, this is quantum physics. If you've got a box, it might be a cat. That's Schrodinger's box, isn't it? In quantum physics, pretty sure this is the way it works. Is if you've got a box, until you open it and check, it might be a cat. So there's top tips. But what that means for us on stream. To the Moon is another great game that's sad but well made. Not really on this, just a game to consider. Yeah, okay, cool. I like that. I will put that on my list I'll have a little look at it and think, because I like games that are a bit shorter, a bit more meaningful, a bit more powerful in that way, that I don't have to play for like months and months and months to grind out every little chuffing sword and arrow. Yeah, I like those sort of things. But sadly, for stream now, I can't type anymore. I can plug this in, but I've got to get the charger and the wire, and it's in a different room, and it's one of those things, isn't it? So for a little while now, I'll just talk. But I'm pleased that today's stream is Sunday stream. We've done an hour and a half saying thank you. We've had a little look at a marching band. That's your result. That's your reward for all your tippies and your chippies over the week. And this is where you do your chippies and chippies on coffee.com. So thank you for them. Look, thank you. If I refresh that, it should now show us the latest one from Snippy Snips. Yep, there you go. Look, thank you. And I can type thank you in there, but I don't have to now because I'm saying it. So next week we're going to do another marching band, but we're not going to do a political one. We won't do a political one. I'll find one that's... Do you want an American one? Do you have a little look at an American one? Do you have a little look at an American one? And then we'll have a little look at an American one. Then I've got to go as well. You've got to go. I've got to go. We've all got to go. We've all got to go. You have to go regularly. It's good to go regularly. It keeps you healthy. Don't hold it in. I want to see the top American. I wonder if this will work. Oh no, I can't type it. Ah! Oh God. My only choice is to try and... I want to see the best American marching band, right? I want to see the best American marching band. So what I've got at my disposal is whatever's on screen. Right, band. I've got band. Look, check this out. I can have band. Copy. We can paste band. Oh, I shouldn't have got... No, undo. I can't undo. Edit undo. Can you edit undo? Edit undo. Yes, right, I'm going to keep March. And I'm just going to put band there. March band. Now I just need America instead of that. My headphones started to break. Oh, I need to get another set of these. Just hold them together with gaffer tape. They stay on. So now I need America. I need the letter A. Is a good start. America. Where's an A? Show me now. Look, I'll be able to do this without a typewriter. I just got to get lucky. Disneyland, Anaheim. They went to Anaheim. That band we just watched went to Anaheim, to Disneyland. Oh, I want to press that now. It's only 7 minutes. I'll press it. What's the story? What's the story? How come they have made it to Disneyland? What's the story?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Disney Performing Arts presents a special guest performing group, a participant in the 2018 Rose Parade, the Kyoto Tachibana High School Green Band from Kyoto, Japan, under the direction of Hiroyuki Tanaka, Hirofumi Yokoyama, and Hifashi Hiromatsu. Let's give them a warm welcome.
I don't know why it's so jerky, but what the chuff? Now listen, little polite applause there, but this band's about to go off, surely. They've even started with the kicking and the jumping. This is their chance. They're at Disneyland. They were in something else before, but this is... Her socks aren't even at the front there. Her socks aren't even. That's a massive slur. Massive racial slur. It's not a racial slur, it's not a slur. Look, just even out your socks, because it's your big chance. And you've got to get... All right, well and good giving it a few little jumps. You've got to give it some. You're at Disneyland. You've got to give it some. Do you think they've been told to rein it in? What's that? They've not brought their A game, have they? They've not brought their A game to Disneyland. I suppose it might be jet lagged. Woo! I've seen them do better. So I've got March Band. Do you think I'll get America out of this? Kyoto, Japan. Come on, they're in America, so you might get the word America. Next Friedman podcast. I'm just looking for the word America or an A. I could have a for their artificial consciousness. Oh no, it won't let me just, because I have to click on it. I don't want to click on it. I want to just take the letters. Oh no. You've got an A. Ah. Copy. Right, I want the best marching band in America. So I'm going to paste just the A. M. Look, you can do it. You can do it. Is there a M? There's no M. Show more. It's all in Japanese. Right. There's no A. R. R. E. There's an E. Got an E. Copy. You can do it. It's achievable. You can do it. Put your mind to it. There's nothing in the world can stop you. It's achievable. There's a R. Copy. There's a M there. There's a M there. Look. Copy. This is a little bit laborious. Where's an air? Can we not have an air? Disney. Copy. Paste. Eric. We're going to do it. I'm going to chop and do it. paste. Captain, look, it's even starting suggesting them now. America. That's better than what I've got. America March Band. Yeah, that's better. All right, we'll have that. And then I'll just bin off the... What, the chuff? I thought I'd see a load of marching bands, but instead, I want the best American marching band, so we can keep the T. B-E-S-T. I can't delete. I can cut like that. Can't delete, though, because of the keyboard. So, I can't do a space bar either. Oh, no. That's a huge error. Best American marching band. Best. There's an ST. I'll have that one then. BES. Copy that. You can shut up if you're not going to be a video. And BES. Just paste that there, look. I need a butter. We're so close now. Band. Copy. Paste. And then I want to put a space in there as well. And I think I can copy and paste a space, can't I? Copy. Just use the keyboard there for a second and it doesn't work. Paste. Yes. Yes. Jeremy Clarkson. James May. BES America. I just need an E. Just give me an E. There we are. An E, please, Bob. Dislike. Copy. I don't dislike it, though. I'm going to undo that dislike. Sorry. I didn't mean to share that feedback with the creator. BE. Everyone got cross about them removing the likes. They didn't remove it. You can still see it if you're a creator. It's just you can't get bullied. Well, it's too late for that. It already ruined my channel. Look, best American marching band. That's what I want. I just want to see some really high class, because that was Japanese and they seem to be all right. Now we're going to see what YouTube suggests is the best American What, the chuff? Who are these? Look, it's Destiny's Child. Oh, no, it's not. It's a marching band. The Ohio State University, Alabama State University, top 10. We'll have top 10, yeah? It's only 10 minutes. I need to go to the toilet. No, I don't want to advertise alcohol. No, it's not good. Alcohol's bad. It will ruin your life. Get rid of that. Chuff off.
Bands on this list are among
what,
some
the chuff?
of the best in the world.
That's been sped up, hasn't it?
Number 10, the Top Secret Drum Corps. When the Top Secret Drum Corps took the stage at the Virginia International Tattoo in 2016.
International. I wanted to see the best American one. These are Swiss, look.
Is comprised of 25 drummers and a color guard.
Now,
they are known for their demanding 6-minute.
What you can also see here is you can see where the drumsticks, they're like lines. That's because this has been shot in interlacing, 1080p interlacing. And what that means is that from frame to frame, what you see as you see the movement is instead of one frame, then the next frame changing like a series of photographs, they interlace the two pictures like that. Like that. So one frame changes while the other one stays the same. You get your new frame in, and then your next frame, this side now changes, and then you get your new frame, and then this side changes. So it changes like that. It's constantly changing frames to it. You're always seeing one, and the other one is always being brought in on top of it. And you're always seeing the next one change. So you're always seeing one static and one new, like that. So you've always got these lines. And when something's moving quick, you can see those lines. You can see that's interlaced. When you're shooting something like this that has fast movement, you've now got the choice between interlaced, which is a more American choice system of, but you can choose on the back of your camera. Don't do that. Don't do that. Show me sequential shots. Interlaced, 1080p. What's opposite of I don't know what you'd call it. But you don't want interlaced. I'll tell you what, in the modern world, you don't want interlaced, and you don't have to have it anymore. So it ruins things like this.
Minute routines. They are the only non-military, non-British Commonwealth act that has ever performed on the Esplanade at Edinburgh Castle.
Right, yeah, brilliant. But that's not what I wanted to see, is it, you chuffer? I wanted to see some of this. Okay, so in America, you do it at the football games. That's the difference, isn't it? Look, it's part of the, because the American football is really boring and nothing happens for ages, and there's loads of people that are involved at the university that need to be involved in the, you know, the show and shebang of it, that don't really have much to do with football. So you have this sort of side project go along with it where people are like cheerleading, We don't have that in the UK. We don't have like people playing football, then some other people involved as a group to cheer them on. Like we are the fans, we are the cheerleaders, not cheerleaders like dancing and jumping around, just like yelling and screaming and being rude. But yeah, we don't have all this charang and shavago go on around the sport as well. We just like the ladies, the people play football, and they just play football. They don't have a marching band on the pitch. But in America, because it's so boring on watching them not do anything for hours on the American football, then you have to do this as well. Oh, I skipped. Oh no. Oh, that's all right. Get away from me with your adverts. Get away from me with your adverts. I don't want whatever that is now. Even if it seemed like it might be nice, I'm not going to buy it on principle. This is what I want to see. Some actual real halftime show.
With the pride of the Buckeye.
I've been to Ohio. I've got a Buckeyes t-shirt. Buckeyes refers to a sort of grain, like a wheat grain that is popular. Let's just give him a little... It's pretty cool. It's totally different, isn't it, to be perceiving it from this distance, and it gives you the ability to do totally different things with that space and that arrangement. Much more akin to the traditional British Royal Military Tattoo marching. The space bar doesn't work because the chuffing thing doesn't work. So it's like the people of Pixels. It's a totally different concept. Very interesting. But then the next step, isn't it? The next step is to watch those shows by the communist Chinese Republic where everyone's forced to practice 3 times a week and they will have a coloured card and the next step's one of them, isn't it? So I don't know if we want to go that far. But that's interesting and different. Can't really judge it because I can't see the marching band up close. It's creating a good sound in that venue. It's definitely doing that. But can't really see the individual... it's much more of a wide angle on this, isn't it? Interesting difference. Okay, so you be good, my little podcast. Then we have done a little bit of a list that I can't complete because my keyboard ran out. That I can now use as a bit of a basis for our for the video that we're going to do about top 10 games that you have to play. And it's been Sunday. You've been good. Back tomorrow with Mental Health Monday, 8 PM GMT. Should mention this, which is something that I've been mentioning all week now. YouTube, Ganji Kid, our channel on YouTube. We've now been streaming on our channel on YouTube. Uploads there, look. Fisherman's Quest streamed 22 hours ago. Blade and Sorcery streamed 2 days ago. So I've got it working. So we're going to stream the VR play where I can't interact because I'm in the VR headset. We're going to stream the gameplay. We're going to stream Green Hell. We're going to stream all that gameplay stuff, just long, not me talking and interacting and you chatting and us having a stream like that, just the gameplay long boring. We're going to put that just as a live stream on YouTube when I do it. That's going to happen more and more frequently, so it's worth checking in there to see what's been going on. And this will be appearing there tomorrow. and I will be appearing here tomorrow for Mental Health Monday. So you be good, my little podcast, you be good. And if you can't be good, then we're going to enlist you in a marching band and you're going to have to do the cymbals.